What are the worst and greatest vehicles of 1986? What I've dubbed the sci-fi year of GI Joe. You tell me what you think. This is what I think. We're going to rank them from the worst to the best. And this is the vehicles and playsets of 1986.
Yo, Joe!
And this, by the way, is part 2 of an earlier video where I ranked every action figure from 1986 in my attempts to catalog and discuss everything that has come out in the first run of GI Joe. I'm sure it'll take me a while to get there. I've done a few years. I've done the weirdest year. I've done the greatest year. I've done the drugs are bad year. I've done the first year. So now this is 1986, which we get a lot of great stuff here, and it gets weird. We're getting weird too. At the very bottom of this list, I'm going to put 2 things that are repaints because I am not a fan of repaints in general. Are these bad? No, they're not bad. And I'm going to give you an argument for why I don't think they're good, though, and then they make any sense story-wise. And that is, their 2 sets came out of Dreadnought vehicles. The Dreadnought Ground Assault and the Dreadnought Air Assault. And now the idea is that the Dreadnoughts have gotten some Cobra and GI Joe vehicles. They've gotten a Ram and a Stinger, and they painted them in Dreadnought colors. Here's why I don't like this idea, why I don't think it works. Well, it's kind of cool to get repaints of these vehicles, maybe. I don't know. I'm not a big repaint fan. I was a pretty much completionist back then. These things, though, when I saw a repaint, I was like, nope, not getting my money. I don't get it. Nope. Unless it was really cool, like a Tiger Force Rattler or something that I think is worth, spending some money on. This was just like not interested. Here's my argument for why these kind of suck. And so, let's put them in order. I'm gonna go ground assault, air assault. Air assault being mildly cooler for one reason. So one is, if you're gonna make Dreadnought vehicles, if you're gonna take a Ram cycle and you're gonna take a Stinger and you're gonna paint them Dreadnought colors, green and blue. But first of all, the Dreadnoughts would be like really uglied up. I feel like they would have like makeshift pieces on them. I think the Stinger doors should be out of wood rather than metal. Or you should do something that makes it Dreadnought. Otherwise, you're just obviously cynically repainting bullshit. Here's why I think the Air Assault is slightly better. Well, the color scheme of the Air Assault really matches the Thunder Machine nicely. So, whereas the Ground Assault, yeah, you get a Ram and a Stinger, that's kind of cool, but they match the Swamp Skier, which is not good. So, but again, repaints. Okay. Next in line, we have the LCV Recon Sled, which is one of the weirdest vehicles and makes 0 sense in any way, shape, or form. I kind of dug it as a kid. It's a little tiny vehicle, but it's got treads and wheels. It doesn't look like it would move very fast. I feel like riding in it, you have to ride in it like head first, as if you're like in a toboggan or something. It's got like a little anti-aircraft cannon in the back. How do you even fire that thing? There's a little bit of armored, I guess, in that you got this big plane of glass in front of you that's covering most of the driver, but I just feel like it's a very uncomfortable way to sit, and it just isn't even that loaded out with weapons. It's one of the lamer vehicles I think that they've ever come up with. Just a design that is so bizarre it doesn't really work even in a bizarre GI Joe fun sci-fi military action thing. It's just, what is this thing? I don't get it. Okay, next in line, I'm throwing in the playsets too, because I want to talk about everything and get through the whole thing. So playset vehicles. And this was, in these years, they're coming out with these playsets that just are world building pieces. They're nothing spectacular sometimes, but they do build the world in a really interesting way. The surveillance port is one of these things. It's nothing too exciting. It's just a little bit of a little fortress with a radar dish and a machine gun. and a couple of stands that keep it in place. But it does give you a little metal structure that Cobras can hide behind. It's fun to run a tank through and crush it or blow it up, and so it's fun. Next we have the Law, which is a stationary cannon with a little seat in it, and they've done many of these at this point. We have several versions of them. And this is probably the worst one. Honestly, it's just not, there's nothing exciting about this thing. It's called Laser Artillery Weapon. It's just a little battle station, a little computer, and a cannon, and it's, I don't know, it's kind of lazy. It just doesn't, it's not good. Next, we have the Outpost Defender, and this is another, like I said, these world-building pieces. It doesn't really work as the idea is like, oh, this is a very like high-tech thing that GI Joe's brought into battle. It looks like a ramshackle thing that they found, but that's so cool because having these pieces, and you could really lay out a battlefield where people are running and hiding behind things and jumping over barricades and using them to keep gunfire at bay. And so this was great. This is just a great little piece. Some sandbags, a platform, a roof overhead, which you could knock off, a machine gun turret. It's simple, and it's so good. It's so good. Next in line, we have the Swampfire. Now, this is a Dreadnought vehicle. We didn't get too many Dreadnought vehicles. And I think, honestly, every Dreadnought vehicle but one is wrong. Like, they just, none of them feel like Dreadnought vehicles. None of them feel like the original idea, the inspiration. The Dreadnoughts was Mad Max, and so all of them should have felt like Mad Max vehicle, and only one of them does. This is a weird one. It's like a swamp boat. So it's a boat, and then it converts into a helicopter. It's kind of a good idea, but I'm not sure why it's Dreadnought, and I'm not sure the execution really works. It just doesn't. It's nothing great for GI Joe vehicle. Nothing spectacular. Okay, next in line, like I said, I think most of this stuff is really pretty good. Is the Hydro Sled, and I like this. I like the aesthetic of it. Just a little tiny sled platform. Got some missiles on the side. Got a very interesting. It's got some armor on the front, which is nice. A lot of things in GI Joe aren't armored, and you're really risking your life, getting in any of these things. But this one also has on the front a like little machine gun with spears on it. Sort of looks like the Eel's gun, so it fits very nicely in the Eel's aesthetic. And just a good little tiny vehicle. Nothing great, nothing fantastic, but something fun. Next, we have the Triple T tank. And I know many of you probably love this thing, and you think, whatever. If you're a big Sergeant Slaughter fan, I love Sergeant Slaughter too, but I never liked this thing. Granted, G.I. Joe has an armor problem, right? They go into battle, and they have their driver absolutely exposed. But never has anybody been more exposed than in the Triple T tank. It just feels like you're dead center putting your vehicle driver like right where everybody would aim, and it just makes no sense. And so Triple T stands for Tag Team Terminator. I don't know. There's just it's just not armed that well, a couple little turreted guns and a couple missiles. This thing is the first thing I'm taking out if I'm going. It's not. I don't know what it is and why. I did come out with a version of it that's a transformer combo. I'm not buying it. It's like the one of those I'm not interested in. Just not a fan. I understand you might love it. I know you're probably somebody screaming at me. That was you loved it as a kid. You loved it. Maybe if you're really into Sergeant Slaughter, it's kind of his signature vehicle. His later vehicle is so much cooler though. The Warthog is so much cooler. To me that is like that signature vehicle for Sergeant Slaughter. This thing is just a death trap. It's not good. Okay, now we're getting all good stuff from here. I think it's all good. The Cobra Stunt. This is such a bizarro vehicle that I gotta admit, it's just one of those things that, it doesn't make any sense, but I do kind of love it. First of all, it seems like it's a very fast vehicle, so it's high speed. Not a lot of armor in this thing. You are not surviving if you're in this thing. But we've got these two, pods at the front that split apart. So you've got these laser cannons. And then you got a driver in the middle, which I don't know why that's a thing. It feels like it needs too many people to operate. It's like you got to have your driver in the center who's completely exposed. I mean, all you need is low light, just from a little, watchtower, take them out in 2 seconds, and then everybody else is crashing. And so those other two pods, I guess, are to operate the two laser cannons. It's just, and then you have another seat, a back gun, which I love that thing. That back gun is very cool, little seat in the back. And then it's got two flags. Was it cool? Sure, it was absolutely cool. I feel like it also would tip over easily. I feel like, you take a corner on that thing. It's very top heavy, and it has like a weird center of balance. So for me, which was good. I mean, it's like one of those things where like the more destruction, the better. So all you need to do is tap that thing with a Havoc, and that's flipping over. So more fun. That makes it more fun. Next, we have the Firebat. Now, this is an awesome vehicle that came at the center of the terrordrome. I'm going to see it as a separate thing just for talking purposes. You had a little a launching pad within the center of the terrordrome and come out of this dome, which was just so awesome. And it was just a very quick little vehicle. If you read about it, it basically says like there's almost no onboard controls. It's almost impossible to pilot. You're probably going to die if you go in it. But it's just like a quick little aerial vehicle with some bombs on it and some machine guns. It feels like a really fun little vehicle. For me, the idea of that was, the terrordrome is sort of a prefab fortress. It's just this thing that you drop in the middle of a country to like Sierra Gordo. You want to take over. Techno Vipers come in, they build it up, and then all of a sudden you got this absolute amazing fortress. And then any invaders come, the first thing you do is you send out the Firebat, goes on a strafing run, bombs them, and you're done. Right? So that's the role of the Firebat. Next in line, we have Serpentor's Air Chariot. Now, this thing is bizarre. It makes no sense. It's so much fun. The idea, like the pomp and circumstance of having a character like Serpentor, this Cobra Emperor. Of course, you'd give him a chariot, right? And of course, it would, look like a snake. Now, this thing is gorgeous too. The new version makes me appreciate it even more as you have this little tiny open mouth that can reveal a little gun. Just an awesome design. Very fun to have a little battle on the air chariot and knock them off of it. So, gotta say, love the air chariot. I think any of these little tiny, those sets are, you're getting one every year. A figure and small vehicle. There's just so much value there when they're good. Some of them aren't that good, but I think like Overlord, I think is terrible vehicle. But when they're good, they're just so fun. Those little vehicles, I think, do give a lot of play value. Next in line, we have the Devilfish, which is a great little vehicle that we definitely need in classified line. It's a little tiny speedboat, but it's loaded out with machine guns and missiles. You get the double motors in the back, and this thing just has a feel. I feel like it was one of those, like those small vehicles really, were really easy to play with, easy to use. I believe it floats pretty well too. So this was an awesome addition. It's a simple, it's a small and simple vehicle, but sometimes that small, simple stuff is like the best. It's like the easiest to play with, and really makes for a fun time. So much of this stuff is good. It's such a great year. Next, we have the Conquest X30. Now, I'm gonna admit, I think objectively, it's a great plane. It's so good. It's just hard to care about it when you compare it to a Sky Striker. So it's easy to forget, but having the great thing is you got an aircraft carrier. You needed a couple of planes to put on the top, so a Sky Striker and a Conquest X30 will look pretty nice next to each other on the aircraft carrier. Like I said, it's a perfectly good vehicle. It's just it's it's just not a Sky Striker. Okay, next we have the Havoc, and this is one that some people love and some people hate because it's a bizarre, this absolutely bizarre design. It's just such a weird looking thing. To me, that's why I love it, and to me, it's like it's just one of those things you really think about when you think about GI Joe. The Havoc is one of those. It's got a real science fiction design to it. This massive cockpit with bulletproof glass on the top. It's a little weird that cross country would have to ride like head first, again toboggan style. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's also loaded out. So these little laser cannons in the front, the giant laser cannon in the top, which is a person on the top who's definitely dying because there's no armor in this thing whatsoever. But then there's the fact that it has a little hovercraft in the back, which is such a great little thing. You get a second vehicle, very fun. I used to like that hovercraft. Come out and just have it have like spinning blades that are on the bottom, and have it just land on somebody and just take them out with the blades. Rockets, just very weird design, and but awesome, and one of those things that is just identifiably GI Joe. I can see if people are like it's too weird, but yeah, not as an adult maybe, but 10-year-old me was, or 12-year-old me was like, nah, this thing's awesome. Number 4, the Tomahawk. And this is the opposite of the Havoc. This is absolutely a real vehicle that operated in the real world. It feels real. And it also feels so necessary because you need a way to get your G.I. Joe guys in and out of places, and this is the way. It also had a nice little winch on it. It had full of bombs, machine guns, and really needed this, but especially as just like, how do you get from place to place? It's also there's a lot of Vietnam movies at the time that you would watch, and you always have the the gunner and inside the helicopter as it's flying over doing strafing runs. So this allowed you to do that. So it's almost, I feel like the Dragonfly is more iconically G.I. Joe, but the Tomahawk is more useful. This is one of the greatest things. Number 3, and we have the Thunder Machine. Now the Thunder Machine is amazing and absolutely fulfills the promise of a Mad Max vehicle. This is like, it looks like it was made in a garage by people that aren't even that skilled. It's patched together with wood. It's got Gatling guns on it. It's just that giant engine in the back. It just fuels your imagination. And it's a simple vehicle, but absolutely just 100% perfect in its execution and design. One of my favorite things in G.I. Joe, and absolutely love it. And I think I would have been up for seeing, like, it would have been great if they had made some Dreadnought vehicles that captured that same aesthetic. That we had 3 or 4 of them instead of the ones we got. I think this is the only one that does the job right. So it would be cool to see more of them. Number 2, we have the Night Raven, which is one of the great. The Night Raven is an absolutely beautiful, perfect toy based on a real thing. It also is just a sleek and beautiful looking thing. Loaded out with weapons. It's got a rear gun that pops out of the bottom. It's got what I think must be some sort of drones that like carry missiles that can fly on their own and then fire off missiles. And it also has room for 2 people and a separate little pod that is attached to the top that can, fly off. And but just the sleekest looking, plane in the Cobra Army, and one of the best things in G.I. Joe. And the number 1 is almost unfair, I guess, to compare this to a vehicle, but is the terrordrome. This is one of the greatest things in G.I. Joe lore. I think what's so great about the terrordrome is the idea. It's like this prefab fortress. It's like you have this you want to take over a location. In the on the comic book, Serpentor was like selling these off to dictators in places like Sierra Gordo, and like fictional dictators that, you know, want to have rule over their people that are trying to quash rebellions. So what they would do is, like, it's like a prefab fortress. You get in, you drop in crates, you put it, you take all the pieces out. Techno Vipers come in and they build it up into a fortress. And then now anybody tries to invade, you just, first thing you do, you send out a Firebat. Firebat comes out, does a strafing run, bombs them, and then reseats back in the center. And so it's just this incredible force, but it's so loaded out with things to use. It has jail cells. It has laser cannons. It has places to fuel your, you know, ferret, or whatever, or stingers. It has, and then the top of it has a lot of players. For me, it was always about, like, can we scale up the side of this fortress, sneak in, and have a fist fight inside the terrordrome, smashing computers and ripping chairs off. And then the best part of it was that little dome, because once the dome opened up, now you had a pit that you could knock Cobras into. And, you know, and if you knock somebody into it before a Firebat takes off, the Firebat could, like, light them on fire, and, you know, so really fun. That feature was really fun. I loved everything about it. Terrordrome is my favorite thing. 1986, the science fiction year. That's what I think. What do you think? What do you? What's your favorite part of the year? What's your favorite vehicle from this year? And you let me know in the comments below, and let me know what year you want me to tackle next. And, you know, I'm trying to think how to even, like, categorize some of these years. I've done the greatest, I've done the weirdest, I've done the sci-fi year, I've done the drugs are bad year. What's left? You tell me in the comments below, and like and subscribe and do the things that they tell you to do for YouTube. I'll see you next time.